Yo guys, what is happening? Welcome back to Vinny's Talk Show. So today we're back and we have Julie Hartley Brewer's furious clash over C&E reparations, obviously linking back to slavery. And there's Amon with us today, the annoying Amon, as you know her. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I think I've actually, I might have watched it before, I'm not too sure. But yeah, I'm going to give you my reaction to this. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Let's go.
Anti-racism activist. Thank you very much for joining us, Iman.
Thank you so much for having me, Julie.
Well, I mean, why should the church...
I think at the start she mentioned that she was a Black Lives Matter coordinator or something like that. That just tells you everything you need to know. The Black Lives Matter is one of the most corrupt things in the world. Yeah, and I didn't understand what posting a black square on Instagram did for anybody.
England pay out £1 billion in slavery reparations. It was originally going to be 100 million. They decided that wasn't enough. Why should they pay out reparations for something that's happened hundreds of years ago?
Well, the Church of England have actually officially decided that they're only paying 100 million, and they're actually hoping that wealthy, empathetic, logical, pragmatic donors will add that up to 1 billion. So
let me tell you something, I will not be on that list. I will not be donating to anything to do with reparations for slavery. Not a chance. Why should we pay for something that happened 300 years ago, which has been forgiven? And it's done with. It happened. It's over. Like, I don't get it. We're constantly running back to the past.
Not the Church of England that's paying 1 billion. No, not of course.
Well, it's via the Church of England. They're asking for donations, aren't they?
Yeah, so can I just finish? Sorry, can I just finish, please? So,
oh my days, that she's so patronising.
100 million.
Just let me finish, please.
Church of England. The reason why they're doing this is because they invested into the South Sea Company during the early 1700s. And they invested 700 million. They ended up making 443 million. So they never said sorry. They never paid back or kind of repaired that damage, which is what ultimately they're leading with. And so now they're donating or using their endowment fund and whatever else they can combine in terms of righting those wrongs and repairing that damage.
Okay,
so it's 100 million, not 1 billion, 100 million.
No, what 1 billion is they're planning to do that. Okay,
No,
we've only got another 6 minutes.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
We've only got another 6. All right, we'll stick with your figure if that makes you happy. But we've only got another 6 minutes. So if you want to spend the entire time arguing over that, then we won't get to the point of the conversation.
But it's important. It's important.
Well, I'm reporting what's actually reported today. But let's just get sidetracked, shall we?
But it's important, and it was recent. It was, when was it, last night? I think I watched it last night. So it's recent. But yeah, please continue.
Can I carry on? Right, okay. So who would they pay this money to? And why should there be any reparations to people who live... Now, you can't pay any reparations to anyone who is a direct victim of slavery from the Atlantic slave trade.
There you have it. Right. You can't actually pay anybody back who was a victim of slavery because they've all passed away. Everybody who was a victim of slavery 300 years ago is now... I mean, they're all passed away now. They're dead. So you can't really pay them back. So I think she's going to go on to the point now where she says we should pay the families. But it's like, why would you pay? It's like, I think, honestly, sorry, I'm getting a bit caught on my words here.
They will have died many, many years ago. There are many descendants of, but descendant of slave trade is not necessarily been a victim of the slave trade. Now, we know in America there are long-standing issues in terms of civil rights until, certainly in my lifetime. That's not been the case here in the UK. Who would they pay reparations to, and why would those people be deserving?
Okay, so just quick 2 points. In terms of America, you're actually referencing overt racism versus covert. So they are very much delving into a lot of overt racism. Here, we've got quite a lot of overt racism, but predominantly covert. So that's the first point in terms of America. In terms of why the church is doing this, it's about legacy. So as much as they were actually really beneficial.
It's not about legacy. It's about money. They want money in the pockets. because I imagine a lot of people are then they're gonna go and say, well, I am still in pain. Well, I feel the pain from what happened to my ancestors hundreds and hundreds of years ago. Listen, by no means am I saying what happened was right. It's absolutely disgusting. It was wrong. They should have never been enslaved. But it was in the past. It was 300 years in the past. So what I'm saying is, rather than jumping back, we need to move forward. There's this problem where we constantly go back and we don't move forward. Yes, it was a problem back then, but I'm not dismissing racism, right? Don't get me wrong, it happens. But we've got to remember, everybody faces racism. I face it. I've faced racism before. I've been called Milky Bar Kid, white boy, you name it. And they're always looking at things from the past, but not in the present. Because, racism does go on now. I'm not dismissing that. And also, why are they not looking at the fact that there's slavery right now going on in Africa? Where their own people are enslaving their own people, where black people are enslaving black people over in Africa. I don't know why they don't talk about these problems. Yet they talk about problems that happened 300 years ago, and now they want pain for things that happened 300 years ago, rather than trying to attack the problem that's going on currently. It just doesn't add up. It makes no sense to me. Stop balling back in the past and let's move to the present and fix what's going on now.
Actually, a vital role in abolishing the slave trade. That's a lot of people don't really realize that. So 200 years ago, their wokeness started, all of that wokeness started, and they've continued it with racial action plans.
I'll tell you my problem with your mom, right? She's closed off. She's not open-minded at all. It's like she's so indoctrinated in the Black Lives Matter movement that everything is racist. Everything. Bro, I'm telling you now, this woman, you might not even say hi back and she'll call you racist. You might not hear her, or you might miss her when she goes to shake your hand. She will call you racist. Honest.
And we're trying to right the wrongs. And so in terms of why they are doing this, it's because, one, they have an agenda in terms of their race action plans, that continuation of, when they helped with equality, they're just continuing with that. So one of their agendas right now is two things. It's just a logical thing, right? Fair and equitable society, so therefore they want to make sure that they are leading and influencing the way, but that's due to the fact that they know that they use the Bible to justify, pacify, and subjugate black people. So they know that they did that. So what they want to do right now is right those wrongs and see if they can find a way to deal with the low participation rates.
But who do they?
But it's funny because once we repay these reparations and everything's cleared up, it's still going to be a problem. This is my problem. You know what? Maybe if we could pay these and then they just shut up about it, then they forget about it, maybe I might consider putting some money in. So they just shut up about what happened in the past. No one dismissed it. It was spoke about. It was apologised for. It was wrong. But it's in the past. We need to let it go. But honestly, man, it's such a big problem because no matter what we do, this is always going to be an issue. No matter how much we pay them back, it's always going to be an issue. They're always going to bring this up. It's never going to stop. So we could pay you all the reparations you want, but it's never going to stop. You're always going to run back to it. You're never going to let it go. It's just not going to happen. I guarantee it.
Who do they pay that to?
I mean, you say, I will answer that question. No problem. So what they're trying to do is deal with low participation rates. They're trying to deal with ignorance, all of which deals with the legacy. Because you asked me why we are having to do this, because it was in the past. So it's all well and good that they helped with the slave trade. It's all well and good that we ended the slave trade. But the reality is the legacy of the slave trade, the legacy of the transatlantic slave trade being racism still exists. So what they want to do is try to combat that ignorance, because that's something that they...
Combat the current problems. I'm not trying to combat no ignorance from, genuinely about your legacy. Your legacy is actually dying currently as you're talking because there's black people enslaving each other in Africa. So, you're kind of just not making any sense anymore. Oh, crap.
never really said sorry.
Okay,
And they invested a lot of
I
money
would-
and made a lot of money.
I
So
would
that's why they're doing it. And who they are doing it for, let me answer your question directly, please. I do apologise. I just want to actually answer
Okay,
your
but we're very
question. I just
short
wanted
of
to add
time.
that
I'm not
context.
trying to talk
I know,
over
I
you, but
appreciate that.
you're
But I'll just
talking for
answer
a
the
long
question.
time.
So, no problem. So, I apologise. So, who are they going to pay it for, or who are they going to pay it to? The reality is reparations doesn't always have to be in the form of money. So what they're going to do is invest it in business-led kind of programs and initiatives. Anyone that wants to build a business that is ambitious, pragmatic, etc., they're going to promote it and kind of target that area. They're also going to lead with education, employment, and they're also going to lead with health. So these are really.
But hold on a minute. I'm so
issues
sorry.
within the black
These
community,
things are
and that
happening
they
already. Why
neglected
should we be
200
giving
years ago.
priority to a black person setting up a business in this country over a white
It's not
person?
priority.
What about a black person who has brought up in a nice middle class family, gone to university, done fine, nicely, thank you, and a white person who's living on a sink estate? Who hasn't had any of those opportunities, and you're saying, oh, well, the black person should benefit from the church reparations because of something that happened to long-distant dead relatives. That's not fair. That's not really tackling inequality today, is it?
No, what you fail to realise, and I appreciate that, but what you fail to realise is that the Church of England didn't use the Bible to justify, subjugate, and pacify that white person in order to
pacify. They thought they were spreading the gospel. I'm no defender of the Bible teachings.
Them in order to promote
I'm not. I'm an atheist.
colonialism.
However, when am
telling you, let me finish.
Sorry, Iman, sorry.
You said we were running out of time.
I am, but genuinely, you never finish, so I have to interrupt because you never finish. When am I going to get my reparations? I'm a white woman. I'm the child of Irish immigrants and British people. When do I get my reparations from the Roman Empire? When do I get them from the Vikings?
You're forgetting about the racism, which means that you're leading with your bigotry, your agenda, whether that be your personal agenda or journalistic. It could be journalistic.
Yeah.
It's right though. She don't answer the question. Why don't I get reparations from Roman Empire? Why? And she's like, "Oh, you're racist."
We know these
probably because of white.
GB News, no, it's
probably because of white.
And
talks about my bigotry.
That seem to be bigoted.
You just talked about bigotry. You just accused somebody who's asking you questions of bigotry.
No, because you wouldn't say this to a Jew. You wouldn't say this to a Jew, Julia. You wouldn't talk about the Jews in terms of the Holocaust. You wouldn't talk about the Jews in terms of anti-Semitism. You wouldn't say to the Jews, well, you need to get over it. It was in the past. And you shouldn't talk about the fact that anti-Semitism has risen in the last, I don't know, a few months since all of those issues around the world. You wouldn't say that to Jews, but you're saying it to me because I'm black. So isn't that interesting? You keep saying...
Same excuse. The lamest excuse is because I'm black. Sure.
To me, because you're white, I'm going to say to you, you're saying what you're saying because I'm black. Race baiter. Thank you very much.
I've got someone shouting in my ear telling me I've got to go down, but I'm letting you carry on.
That you keep
digging yourself deeper in, love.
No, I'm very glad I got my time.
Okay, now I'm afraid I am out of time, but you did a great job making your arguments. Well done. Iman Aitan, who clicked?
Okay, there we have it. Annoying Iman is back. Why can't we just have a world where everybody is seen as children of the Lord? You know, we're all created in the image of God. We shouldn't see anybody as a different race. I shouldn't see anybody as that race. You know, it don't bother me. It can be black, white, yellow, green, red. Don't make a difference to me. You know, I love all people. Thank you guys very much for watching. And I'll catch you in the next one.